What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Elite Real Estate Podcast, where real estate meets mindset, marketing, and momentum. I'm your host, Jimmy Nelson, and today we are coming to you live from the Royal Oath Insurance Group right here in Clinton Township, Michigan. Big shout out to the entire team here. Royal Oath is more than just an insurance agent. They're your promise keepers. Whether it's auto, home, business, life, or health insurance, they're here to protect what matters to you most. You can check them out at royaloathinsurance.com or give them a call at 586-238-3535. And, of course, today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends at Connection, the CRM built for closers. If you're a real estate agent, entrepreneur, or small business owner looking to automate, follow up, and close more deals and stay top of mind, then Connection is your secret weapon. Go to yourconnection.com and take control of your pipeline today. Now, whether you're tuning in live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or X, catching the replay on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you stream, we're glad you're here. Do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, and share this with a friend, and make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. All right, guys, let's get locked in. We've got a powerhouse show lined up today, and if you're in business or real estate or just building something big, this one is for you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back into the Elite Real Estate Podcast. We're joined every Friday morning, live, sometimes in studio, sometimes out of studio. But today, I've got a bunch of special guests today, so I'm super excited about this. It's one thing I've been thinking about doing for a long time. And for those of you that are tuning in later, or watching on the live stream, or listening to the podcast later, wherever you find podcasts. Again, you can find the Elite Real Estate Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. So we are live on KGCI Radio as well. And thanks to EXP for that. And I appreciate that, the spot on Friday mornings. And so you can find the Elite Real Estate Podcast a lot of places, is what I'm saying. But one thing that some of you are listening later and may not know about is one thing we have a live call-in line. So I have every Friday we have live callers in. But what some of you don't know is that every day, Monday through Friday, we have we host a coaching call for real estate agents here in it started out as a local thing, but now it's expanded to it's a national thing. So we've got agents from and we get so Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. You can join at the 248-803-0656 is where you can dial in. And that again is a live dial-in number for the show as well. So everybody that's dialing in. So what I really wanted to do so that was it's our Breakfast Clubber. So good morning from Breakfast Clubber Mindy from Indy, who was on the call and then, shot in here on YouTube. So the Monday through Friday, every day, and this has been going on for about 6 years that this call has been happening. And you just dial in and listen on your phone. And we tell everybody during the week, make sure you mute yourself, right? Because you are coming in on a hot mic. So I say all that to say that our Breakfast Club group has become now, people are referring business back and forth. People are going on vacation and meeting up with people in other areas. We've got agents from New Jersey. We've got agents from Florida. We've got agents from North Carolina, South Carolina. We've got agents from California on the call. And again, every Friday or every week, every day, Monday through Friday, we are on this coaching call. And then that's where the people from the club or Breakfast Club are on. And they're on this morning. So good morning, Breakfast Clubbers.
Good morning,
Good
Uncle
morning.
Jimmy.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
And there they are. So the Breakfast Clubbers are coming in, and International Abdallah is here. He's always in the house Monday through Friday. Again, guys, this is a thing we do every day, and it started out as just a overcoming objections, right? We were going to get on the call. We were going to overcome objections. We were going to work on things we were going to jump on the phones with. There's a lot of scripting, a lot of role playing, and it's turned into a pretty robust phone call in the morning every day to get your business going. And then so now it's turned into Mondays we do motivational Mondays, Tuesdays Taco Tuesday, which we kind of encompass everything. Wednesday, the lovely Lisa LaRue takes over on Wednesdays and brings in that mindset, the motivation, the gratitude, all the things that keep us pumping through the week. And Lisa runs that on Wednesday. Thursday, we get back into mostly scripting, role-playing, overcome objections. It's Triple Threat Thursday. Ron Provenzano, Curtis Shewell, myself, Al Abdallah, we're all on there, and we are overtaking that part. And then on Friday, you get plugged into the Elite Real Estate Podcast. So that's where we're at. And I was excited to, and it's one of these things I've been trying to do. And Jeremy Beaumont's in the house. And one of the things I want to do is and bring in the Breakfast Club. And I was like, how do I? Al brought it up, when I was mentioning this. Al's like, you should get us all in studio. I'm like, well, the studio's not as big as it may seem on camera. So it'd be tough to get, some days we get over 120 agents on this phone call. So it's grown, it's expanded. And Kurt Shewell, you were on the line, correct?
You betcha.
There.
Always here.
There he is, always here. And so it's been about 6 years, right, that this has been running.
Yeah, a little over actually, because we started it on the second year we were here, and we just finished our 8th year. We're just starting year 9 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, a little over 6 years.
It's incredible, man. And again, it's every day. So there's not a day that goes by. I mean, don't get me wrong. With the holidays, those kind of things. There are days we shut it down, and aren't on there. But for the most part, man, rain or shine, it's kind of like the post office. We're always there, and we're always trying to, do the right things and help people out. And I think it's now grown into something that we didn't even expect it to grow into.
Oh, that's extremely correct. I mean, if you think about it, right? I was just looking at it when you were talking, and there's people from 21 states that have come in and out of here. We have a collaboration group too, Jimmy, you can, add in, which is so people can, speak throughout the day, every day. Now you've got a group that you're part of. It's in the WhatsApp group, and there's almost 300 people in that one just from the coaching.
Yeah, and it's crazy that it's again, because it's about just making our business better, right? And growing our business, helping people out. And if we just help agents get better, our industry gets better. So that's one of the biggest things, and the biggest things I've always been a proponent of, right? Like, how can we help get our industry better? How can we help, and coming from a coach's mindset, it's those reps, and we get those reps in every morning. We overcome objections. We talk about, negotiating a deal, whether that's overcoming objections with a client, or whether that's overcome objections with another realtor that you're doing a deal with, or it's yesterday we talked about Tanya, New Jersey. We talked about an attorney and how are we going to handle this deal, because the attorney did some things that he shouldn't have done, and all these things. Like it's really sharpened my sword to keep me on my toes for my daily business, because now I'm trying to help people in other states, right? And it's, I'll foreshadow this too. Like when we're working with people in other states, I'm in Michigan. And I always, say if our brokers are listening, I always say, go to see your state broker, right? Here's what I would do, but go see your state broker before you do anything like that. But yeah, the call has really grown and expanded, I think, to this, because of the group that is in there. And I think that it's become such a great group. And Lisa LaRue just said, good morning. Great idea, Jimmy Nelson. And again, Lisa takes over on Wednesday. And I think that is one of the things that is surely needed is, our gratitude. How are we doing this? Like, does it, we need to make sure that we do health checks and self checks on ourselves. And that's one thing that Lisa ensures that we do every Wednesday, is do self checks on ourselves, because it's like we talk about with the oxygen mask. If we're not, we got to put the oxygen mask on ourselves first before we put it on anybody else. So that's become very big too. And then through now with the podcast, my goal is to bring in guests that will amplify what we do throughout the week and bring, some more information. How can I bring more to our agents on the Breakfast Club call? And it was, I can do this via bringing guests in that are high level, that are entrepreneurs, that are trying to build a business and do things the right way. And so that was one of the ideas that I had with the show, was I can bring this to the Breakfast Club. We have it dialed in. We can take phone calls, which, to my knowledge, I'm just going to say this, the Elite Real Estate Podcast is still the only live Q&A podcast for real estate agents in the world. So I'm hanging that banner, and I'm going to stick to that. And Yvette Bryant said, good morning. Good morning, everybody. I, again, appreciate you guys watching live or dialed in. So Breakfast Club line, Al Abdallah, I want you to jump in here real quick and talk about what's this call done for you, my man.
Good morning, everyone. As I always say on my social media platforms, what's up, social media? Listen, man, it's an addiction. I mean, I don't know how to say it. Like, if you have coffee, if you have whatever you drink or eat every day religiously, if you wash your face, brush your teeth, and take a shower, it's become a part of my norm. And that, when I travel internationally, I sometimes can't get on these calls. My fear of missing out kills me. Not just me. But what it's done for me is, as much as I've been in the business for almost 30 years now, as much as you think you don't know what you don't know sometimes. And on these calls, we talk about so many things that it's not just objection handlers, scripts, and dialogue. It's situations, problems, and just a multiple things. And when you get, an international or nationwide platform that you got people from all over the country and the world, we've had people from overseas sometimes on these calls getting their input that they know. And a lot of times it could be a brand new agent that just says something. And it's called the aha moment, where that light bulb just sparks. And some of us betters are like, you know what? I remember that. I used to do that 20 years ago. I have no idea why I don't do it anymore or why I don't say it anymore. So overall, it's just, cars have remote starters. It's my remote starter to warming up my dialogue, my tone, my vocals. As a musician, you warm up your vocals, or you practice and rehearse like football and sports teams do. It's our practice and rehearsing early in the morning to get our day started. And this, to me, for free, is priceless. So thank you.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? This is every morning, and there is no. This is just what we do. There is no thing to join. There's no anything to sign up for. There's no added attachments to this thing. This is just, join us as an agent. Let's help each other get better. Let's bring more stuff to our industry. Let's help each other build. And I think that's one of the things you hit on, Al. Is this is just it sharpens my knife. Right. It sharpens my sword every day. And it challenges at times because, there's there's moments on there that we've had agents get a little heated on there because there's different points of view on how to negotiate, how to handle things. And go from there. So we've had some heated moments on there where, an argument a little bit because we're disagreeing on how to handle certain things. But again, that's the passion that comes out in that call. And I agree with you, Al. Like it's changed a lot of things for a lot of people, and Jen Anderson just commented on here and she said, "Good morning. Breakfast Club has certainly made me into the agent I am. Been coming on for 3.5 years. It starts my day out right." So, 3.5 years, it's been longer than that we've been doing it. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah, Mindy.
We've seen, Jimmy,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you real quick, but we've seen many of the agents on this group flourish and thrive and grow. And we know this because they tell us right on the call, I was scared, I was shy, I was uncomfortable. And now I'm extremely comfortable being uncomfortable. So yes, it does a lot for a lot of people. Sometimes, Jimmy and Kurt, we got people that are thriving and growing that have never participated on this call, but they're a fan in the stand watching the game. They're not on the field playing it, but they're playing it out in their field, but they're not playing it on the call. So I think participation and interaction and healthy, we can all agree, it's not a perfect call, but it can't be perfect. If it was perfect, it'd be boring. And that's why everybody can have different opinions. If somebody says something, I may disagree. You may disagree with what I said. So I think that's the beauty of it is there's no other call that I know in the industry that anybody from any brokerage, it's not just an EXP call, anybody from any brokerage can hop on and chime in. We've invited others because and I know, sorry, I'm rattling here. And I know, I'm a big fan of the MLS, the multiple listing service, and cooperating brokerages. I never understood why we can sell each other's properties, interact, communicate for 30 days or whatever it is, and close, but we can't learn from each other and brainstorm and network on a live call. And that's what this call is.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I think you're right. There is, this industry has been so kind of closed off. Everybody kind of lives in their own silo for the most part, and we've done a good job of kicking down that silo. And I think that's one of the biggest things, again, that I try to bring with the Fridays is, I bring agents from other brokerages on, right? That doesn't. I want them to come on. I want their point of view. I want to be able to, again, sit across from the closing table with them from time to time, right? And then I've had a dentist and I've had a
This
doctor.
call is being recorded.
And we hear, how many times do we hear that? Since this update for the phones and you can record on your thing, that's what you start to hear on this call. But again, we've heard, oh man, Kurt, we've heard some things on this call. Kids getting yelled at, toilets flushing, kids getting yelled at,
going to school, people yelling at each other, husbands and wives, all kinds of stuff. Interesting.
It is interesting, and it's the phone in the pocket of people just a lot of people just throw a headset in and they're just on, but they forget to mute their phone, so they're picking up all the background noise. So that's always makes it interesting as well. so it never goes without any of those kind of things. And Lisa LaRue, I know you're on here. How has this call impacted your business?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So I've been doing my call for about 5 years, I have figured out. And I will tell you, I've done both. I've done real estate where I just am in my own silo, doing my own thing. And oh my goodness, when I joined EXP, joined the group, and started collaborating, my business blew up. All these new ideas. I get ideas every single day from the call. And I've been selling real estate for 23 years. So you never stop learning. And the thing about the call is everyone is so giving and collaborative and willing to share their secret sauce so that our industry becomes a better industry overall. And I think that's the thing for me is I want to improve our industry. I want to make sure that our industry is, growing in the right direction and that we understand all of the ins and outs. Some of the things that I love is when Kurt does his deep dive on what's going on today and where's the market, those kinds of things. It's my way of staying plugged into what's going on. And when I miss because I'm on vacation or I'm flying or whatever, I have to go back and check out those recordings because I need to know what's going on, what's the pulse, right? So it's been huge for my business, definitely doubled my business immediately as soon as I joined. And I'm just continue to grow every single day. And the call is a huge part of that.
Oh man. So you took over Wednesdays. That's been 5 years now?
Yeah, 5 years. I couldn't believe it.
I can't believe it either.
5 years.
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
It sure does. And it's such a great way to connect with people. And mine's about mindset. And it was great because in the beginning I started doing role plays and different things like that for my call. And then I realized there was a huge gap between what agents will actually do because what they believe in themselves that they can do. And so that's where the mindset thing had to come into play. Because if your mind isn't in the right place, you're not going to do the things you need to do. Just like you said at the beginning, there were agents that were struggling to, they're afraid of this or, can't get over their own self to do the things that they need to do. And this call really helps in every aspect.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I'm very thankful for you and being part of this because you do bring that. It's that mindset, right? Like I know you're a big Tony Robbins fan, right? And so you bring that kind of atmosphere on Wednesdays to us because it's we get beat up in this industry. We get our butts kicked most days. And it's not a bad thing. It just is what it is, right? Like that's how you build a business. Like anybody that's building a business, there's some hard days. And just because a deal fell apart, or you have a couple things happening, or an inspection went, there's all these things that pop up in our business. But I think that's
Absolutely. And
yeah.
I would see people dwelling on that one deal that's going sideways, or that one deal that's falling apart, instead of, okay, compartmentalize this. This is what's going on. How can I handle it? How can I get my mind right from that so that I can go out and get more business right now, and stop dwelling where you're at in the woe is me and can you believe they did that and can you believe what's happening? No, you got to put that away. Whatever you believe is what's going to happen. So where's your belief right now?
I love that. Where is your belief right now? That's one of the, I've said it on the show before. I have this whole idea of a T-shirt line. So where is your belief right now? I think that might be one of the T-shirts in the shop when I get that done, along with my million other things that I need to do.
I love it. Where's your belief right now?
But it's true, and it is. We carry a lot of heavy stuff, and I think that what you're doing on Wednesdays, so the last few weeks, you've been covering ninja selling, which I think is another huge thing of re-energizing. And I think Melissa was the one that brought it up, and Melissa's like, yeah, I've had that book on my shelf for years and I never read it, but now that we're doing it on Wednesdays, now she's reading it. So I think that's another added bonus to what you're doing is helping us, because a lot of us say we want to read more, but a lot of us don't, unless we're around our peers that are reading more. Now all of a sudden I want to read more because that's what's happening. So I appreciate you, my friend, and I love what you're doing on Wednesdays.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. Let's all do this together, and that's what this is about. And I appreciate you as well, and everyone that contributes. It's truly magical.
It is, and it happened by accident, but it's been 6 or 7 years now, and it's pretty incredible that's been carrying over for 6 or 7 years. So one of the things, again, I talk about with the show is, if you guys can remember on the Breakfast Club, like over the guests that we've had, you guys just go ahead and talk, but who's some of the memorable guests that you guys that we've had on, that really resonated with you on these Fridays? Does anybody have anybody that comes to mind?
I mean, there's like a laundry list of how do you pick? You know?
Yeah, we've had, I'm just going through a list here, you're right. Most recently with Keith Simon's been on, Justin Barton from Connections been on, Bernard Shama was just on, from EXP with Real Push podcast he has as well. Dante Shackelford, I just had on a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about hard money investing and loans and those kind of things. And we had Jesse Dow was on not so long ago, just talking about YouTube videos and how we cover that stuff. So again, that was, it's been pretty incredible to have these people on. So I want to say what is, some of you on here, go ahead and just chime in, but what has this call done for others on there? So we've heard from Kurt and Al and Lisa and anybody else on the call right now. What has this done for your business?
Good morning, Jimmy. It's Melissa in Orlando, Winter Park.
Good morning, my friend.
Morning. This call, and I posted this in our Facebook group, but it's the consistency of showing up every single morning. It's kind of the start of your business day. So it gets your mind ready. And I was somebody that said, I am not making phone calls. Like, I don't care. Like, I will generate business however I can, but I am not calling people. I'm just not doing it. Not going to bug people. And the call helped me get through that call reluctance. And I don't know that I could have done it without it. Like, I don't know where and just having the words, because I think that's where a lot of real estate agents get stuck, is we don't know what to say. And you've taught me and they're simple things to say, but hearing them over and over and over on the call. And to sum it up, literally, I have some of my very, very best friends in the world came from this call. Like people that if I like something really like I needed that, call a friend, the survival one, like there are several people from this call that I could call at 2 o'clock in the morning, and be like, oh my gosh, I need your help. And they would be there. I don't know where you get that in this industry.
It's tough to find, my friend. And I owe you a phone call back, actually, now that you say that.
Whenever you have time, it's not an emergency call.
Well, when I missed your call yesterday, then you texted me and said, I just have a funny story. Then I knew I didn't have to rush and call you back. But Melissa, you bring up a very good point. I think there's a lot of us, I came from an industry in the mortgage side of this before I got into real estate, where I was a dialer. That's what we did, right? We were on a triple line dialer, and it was just 600 dials a day. So that for me, that was just normal. But for you came into this thinking like, I don't know if I want to make any phone calls, and now you're listing FSBOs.
Oh my gosh, and I started out with FSBOs. That's really how I got my business started, but it wasn't because I called them, but I did a couple other things that another agent gave me an idea to do, which I now look back and think, well, that was really shady. It was really shady, and I probably should not have listened to her. But after I did that one for sale by owner, my business kind of started, but it was, maybe 6 deals a year, which was my teacher pay, which I was happy with. But once I started getting phone calls, it'll change your life, because it opens you up to so many different opportunities.
Yeah, and referrals, right? So you're in Orlando, and so if anybody here that's on the call that's in any other state and knows that they have a client that's potentially looking in Orlando, who are you going to call? Well, I'm going to call Melissa. That's for sure where I'm going. So it's amazing that the referral deals that have happened on this too, because of the relationships that have been built and the trust that's been built, to what Melissa said, right? The trust in, oh my gosh, these are some of my best friends now. Fadi, when he goes to Orlando, goes and visits Melissa, right? Like it's
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
It's so funny because oh gosh, I'm sorry, his name is escaping me. He hasn't spoken up yet. He's on the calls all the time from Ohio. Arthur was literally in town for a wedding. I think we met downtown for like maybe 20 minutes, grabbed a few phone call or a few pictures. But really, it's funny when you think of collectively how long some of us on this call have spent time together, physically together. It's maybe a couple hours. It's not
maybe
a lot of like time. So, but Arthur, like I'd call him in a heartbeat. We still reach out to each other outside of this call, because we remember something that they mentioned that they had gone through and said, hey, what did you do? I remember you talked about this situation. What did you do to get through that? So
yeah.
it's a resource of people.
Yeah, we're very far apart in distance, but again, we're in this thing every morning. 5 days a week. For the majority of the time, we hear each other's voices at 7:30 Eastern time. So I think it's pretty incredible that we get this done with each other every morning. And again, we have, there's days that we take off, right? Holidays and whatever else. But other than that, it is on. And we've had agents, that were on and strong for a while and then dropped off. Their business changed, something happened. Or different things, right? Whatever happens. But yeah, we've had some, but you can go through a list of characters that we've had on. And I think it's pretty cool. We should have really, Kurt, I know we talked about that at the beginning of we should have made it into a TV show. It could have been a reality TV show.
Oh, no doubt about it. It's almost it's kind of the part you guys are talking about with Melissa. It's almost like Love is Blind, right? Where you know
Yeah.
somebody so well, but yet you've never seen them. And we work with agents all over the country, and this has turned into such a cool thing. And remember, what we morphed it into, Jimmy, was we started talking, and it had a lot to do with me, you, and I think Al was a big part of the conversation of, we've got all these agents that are at these other brokerages. How the hell do we get these people to learn how to talk to us like humans? Because real estate agents just have this weirdness to us. And it's like, how do we get these other agents to be better agents? And that's what we said. Well, why don't we open the call to every single person in real estate, no matter what brokerage they're at, no matter who they are, and let's make it where we can help everybody be a better agent. Help everybody learn how to engage with other agents, how to negotiate a deal with each other, and not be so stupid that we're messing deals up. We're not helping our clients. And that was kind of what a neat thing was. And that's what you said. There's people that come, there's people that go. And then they come back, and then people haven't been there in a while, and all of a sudden you find out that they're sitting there, they've been on the call, and they just don't talk and they don't chime in, but they're there. And it becomes a really fun, kind of interesting thing. And I remember when, you know how at sports places, like the team isn't doing well and their fan base isn't showing up, so they start putting in like crazy things like, hey, every Wednesday, if you come to the Wednesday game, we're giving away a free car, and they try to get people to show up. And I remember when we used to do gimmicky stuff to make sure that we could get everybody on the darn call every day, because certain days, for whatever reason, were busier than others. Certain days had more of a bigger audience than others. And I remember when we were so excited when there was 25 people on the call every day. And it was like, man, this is so great. We're helping 25 agents every day. Then it was 50. Then it was 75. Then it was 100. Now it's about 120 a day that are every day on this call. And it's so cool. And I love when, we do it at 7:30 in the morning Eastern time. Well, we can't change that because it is what it is, time zones. However, when we have our California people, our Utah people, our Colorado people on the calls, it's really, I don't know, I find it to be so fun and energetic to me, because these people are getting up at 4:30 in the morning to be on this call, and they're religious about it. And they're like, I can't miss this thing. I have to be on this thing. And it's neat when you have them reach out to you over and over, throughout the day, like you and like Melissa, hers was, I want to tell you something. We started counting a long time ago. And at first, when we got over 100, then I stopped counting because it was just constant, where we were helping agents put deals together in different states, and we're not all licensed in those other states. So you have to say, hey, check your broker for this, check your broker for that. But it was amazing to me how many deals we were putting together with agents all across the country. And it goes back to the funny part. I know these people so well, and I've never met them. Like,
Right.
How crazy is this? And it was so fun.
Yeah, and it is I give look, the groups from California and Colorado and wherever else that come on, like you said, it's 4:30 in the morning, like, but they're on, and then it makes me feel sometimes like, well, what am I complaining about? It's 7:30. It's not 4:30 for me. I shouldn't be complaining about this, and they're on here. I think that's incredible.
Right.
I have a question.
It makes you, and you, Al, I mean, you go ahead and say your thing, but it also makes people like Al bring their A game. And we've talked about that before. And it makes you want to be better. It makes you want to bring the best you've got, because these other people are now relying on it, counting on it. It's part of their daily routine, and they need it. And
100%.
That's a responsibility that I love.
Yeah,
Go.
so I was going to ask you,
Go
Kurt,
now.
Yeah. Some people, throughout the years we've been doing this, will say, I've been with EXP for 8 years. So I've been on this call for however long it's been on. But some may say, why 7:30, not 8? Why not 8:30 or 9? Why not later? Why is it at 7:30? And why do why don't we have 500 people on this call instead of 120, for example, or 1,000 people on this call?
I love your question, and you and I have had this debate so many times. It's not even really a debate; it's just we've had this conversation so many times, and it's because there should be 500 people on it. If you go through the years, and like I said, there's been about 250, 260 some different people who have been on this call. And I look at that and go, why would you stop? And what happens is, and you and I've had this call many times, it gets repetitious for people going, yeah, but we're only working through deals every day, and we're only, role playing out through the different scenarios of different things. And it's the same thing. We did that a couple weeks ago. Hey, we were doing some other stuff last month. It's because real estate is consistent every day. It doesn't change. So what happens is people are looking for this aha moment every single day, and a lot of it, it's the blocking and tackling, right? It's the X's and the O's. It's the, hey, are we doing this? Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Let's do it over and over and over again. And we have a consistent flow of people that come through who've never been on these calls, who's never, they've been in real estate for 10 years. They've never been coached like this. They've never had anybody doing these things with them, for them, helping them, really guiding them, role playing out real scenarios of real deals. And sometimes it's not super exciting. Dare I even say, sometimes it's a little boring. Well, it's boring for us, but it's not boring for the agent who's putting their first deal together and we're helping them do it. It's not boring for somebody who's never had to overcome that objection. They're not even sure what to say and they're freaking out and they're about to lose a deal. And we walk them through it, practice them through it. They get off the call, they call their client. And then the next day on the call, they're celebrating the hell out of the fact that, oh my God, this is so amazing. You're not believe I got this deal. Guys, I got this deal. Oh my God, that is one of the greatest feelings we can have. But what happens is some other people are like, yeah, you guys are like, having fun and just, I want to only do this. Well, if we only did it for every single personality, their way only for the one thing that they want to talk about all the time, then it would become boring and it would become malign and blasé and not effective for everybody. So when you're trying to help hundreds of people at the same time, the call moves and changes. And we try to keep it as relevant as possible. Like Lisa said, there's days, when NAR was going on with these lawsuits and stuff, somebody had to make sure everybody knew what the heck was going on. So we were working our butts off to make sure we had all the current data, and then we were sharing it, making sure everybody knew what was going on. And then it would be like, okay, great. Hey, let's get back to some blocking and tackling. Al, let's do some FISBOs this week. Hey, Jimmy, let's make sure we're doing some expireds this week. Hey, let's go back to what farming looks like. And then people were like, well, what about this and what about that? We had to create Taco Tuesday to be the day that we could cover anything goes, any topic, probate, things like that, where people are like, well, how do I ever learn about that stuff? And hey, can you just coach me offline? And what was happening was Ron, myself, Jimmy, you, Al, Fatty, but Lisa, we were all getting people asking us to coach them privately. And it was like, look, I'd rather not coach you privately because then I got to charge you for it because I'm going to take my entire time. I don't want to overcharge anybody. We want to do it for free. We want to make sure that everybody gets this. So we had to do it. Then when you ask about the time, here's the call started because we had ISAs and Jimmy and I were coaching, teaching, and training these ISAs in the office and the newer agents. So every day we made them come in the morning at 8:00 and they had to be on the phones. Well, then we made it, they had to be at 7:30 because we had to warm them up and practice them and objection handle quickly and just kind of rapid fire around the room with them to get them prepared before they got on the phones, because they got on the phones and they weren't ready to get on the phones. They weren't ready to have conversations. And then what we found, Al, right, was, hey, how do we get the top agents around us? Like Al Abdullah. Al's doing 130 deals a year on average for over 20 years straight. That's an insane number, Al. How do we get Al to participate? Well, what we do is we invite Al's people and the people that Al's helping and the people that benefit Al. And we start helping and coaching them. And guess what happens? Al works on them every day too. And then Lisa's like, well, I got my group here. Let's get my group in here every day. And we do. So then it expanded that way. And then Lisa's working with them at 9:00 every day because she's got her team. Al's working with his people at 9:00 every day. Well, if we start off early and have everybody where no one's able to really start prospecting until 8 a.m., that's the law. So why don't we abide by the law? Let's do everything the right way. Let's teach good practices to everybody every day, the right things. Warm them up at 7:30. So by 8:30, they can go live and start talking to their clients and help them and be prepared and be ready and be coached up, warmed up for the game. And then it turned into a phenomenal thing. And that's when we really started to see massive traction, massive help, being able to really support a lot of people. But we have to be done before it gets in the throw of their day. If we started doing this at 9 or 10 o'clock in the day, well, then get up, Get your routines, right? We all know that we live on our schedules and our routines, and this is where the best agents make the most amount of money, is living on a routine. But then we're going to completely interrupt the pattern interrupt, right? And I don't want to have pattern interrupts. I don't want to interrupt your routine. Now you can't have it set up, right? We're going to do this, and then we're going to stop. Now we're going to get on a call to practice after you've already been prospecting for an hour or two, and then stop you to get you ready to go do that you just did an hour or two ago. And we found it was just less effective. So we found sticking with a cadence, sticking with regularity. People like things that are consistent, even though that becomes boring sometimes to people. It becomes consistency, which is what makes them better and stronger. Think about the military. They do it the exact same way every time. And the better we are at that, the more consistent we are, the better we help these agents. And then I can get the best people like you, Al, like Patty, like Jimmy, like Lisa. And then you start seeing all these people coming from these other states. And then we have guest coaches constantly getting on our calls, right? We had Dave Kennard back when he was the president of one of the large, or the time largest real estate brokerage in the United States. I got him on a call out here coaching our people. And then all of a sudden we started, hey, can we get some guests coming in? And we picked the day. When would we do it? Well, let's do it on the Thursdays, where the agents get to go after us and get to challenge us and make us role play them and give them answers to the test. Have us actually be the ones that have to show them the right way to do it. And we found a cadence that really worked really well to develop the best agents. And it became more than just trying to, have a call into your own teams and your own people. It became, hey, how do we make every agent in the industry, no matter what brokerage they're at, be the best agent out there? How can we do that? And that's where we found that the best timing, numbers matching that worked for everybody was if we could do it before they start, that gave them the best ability to have the best, most productive days. Here's your long answer to your really short question.
That's
Can you do me a favor? Can you repeat all that, please?
yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have time.
That's how it started.
Recorded.
And that's how it's morphed to where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that that I really wanted to plug the podcast in on Fridays, was because we do get roughed up all week, right? We get coached, we get all these things, and that's why what I wanted to bring to Fridays was more information, right? I wanted to bring more information to people. How could I do that? And through the podcast platform now, we've been able to have again, John Kitchen's on, and I've had different lenders on. Marcus Union was just on. Al's been on, Fadi's been on, Lisa's been on, Kurt's been on a couple times, right? Like it's a different platform, same phone number, but I wanted to bring something a little bit different, because how can we get more information? And if I get more information in this one-on-one setting from somebody, and it goes to our breakfast clubbers, then it's just more information. Like how could we do that? And that's one of the things I wanted to make it entertaining. And I wanted to make it entertaining, but I also wanted to provide some value there. And I think with the guests that, I always try to bring on, again, it is real estate focused, but it's more than that. It's more mindset, motivation. How do I build the business? When I had the dentist on, Dr. Falcon, we talked about, he's very similar to what we do. He needs more people to come in. Now they have to go see him, but there's a bunch of different dentists you can go see, just like somebody has to buy a house. Well, there's a bunch of different realtors they can go see. How do I attract, and I think one of the biggest things that he said on here to me that really resonated with me was, not every patient is for me. And I thought that for real estate agents, like, not every client is for me. Like, there's some that I probably don't want to work with, right? And they don't want to work with me, and that's okay. There's plenty of fish in the sea. So it's there. That's one of the things I've taken away from this too. Is, and again, how can I bring different people on and different guests? Different guests having different people on. I think that is one of the biggest things that we can do. So I want to say to you guys that have been on here too, what's one of the best guests that we've had on, or who would you want to see again? I think that's another one. As far as guests go, who do you guys want to have on again, or who would you want to see? Who in a dream scenario? Anybody just speak up here, but in a dream scenario, who do we want to get on the show?
Hey, it's Candy and Charlotte.
I was going to say I always enjoy hearing anything that Austin Chevron has, because I feel like I always have a good takeaway from whenever he's on. And our team has had coaching from him as well. I think he's great. But dream guest, I think, would be who's the author of Ninja Selling. I think that would be amazing.
Oh, let me see. But again,
Get it done, Kurt and Jimmy.
yeah, it's we'll see. Again, there's people that we reach out to, and now I've had people reach out to me and want to come on. So I've had some different guests that I had on. From I just got an email from him this morning. And let me tell you, he was on a while ago. But
Real quick, I don't know if I'm spoiling a surprise, but I was told that y'all would have Larry Kendall on this call, so I think it's kind of expected at this point now.
Love it.
It's in the works. It's in the works. We've been in communication. Yes.
Oh, okay. So there actually is some truth to the rumor. Okay.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty incredible. Again, the reach that this has escalated to get someone like that to hop on this call with us. But again, when you see value in it, why not just jump to it?
I think one of the things you've done amazingly well, Jimmy, with the podcast, and the reason you wanted to start the podcast, I mean, that was 100% your idea to say, hey, let's get a further reach and let's bring in like really big people on a day that they would do it. And a podcast was a way to get them to do it. When you say, hey, can you get on our coaching call? Everybody says yes to me. The problem is when I say, okay, it's 7:30 Eastern, they're like, what? Like, Kurt, that's 5:30 to me. That's 4:30 to me. That's 6:30 to me. They're like, are you nuts? I have to be up on the call and ready. And I always challenge them back and go, yeah, this is what our people do. This is why they're the best agents in the business. And then they're like, well, can we record it? Things like that.
Yeah.
So, but some of my favorite guests are like Tina Call, and we have a lot of people from North Carolina and Tina's group that are on the call all the time, and it's always a fun thing. And I love our Carolina crew. Then you look at our crew from Georgia, right? And we have the Massey's crew and Stacey Wyatt's crew, and these are people that are on the call. It's great because then again, it gives us perspective of what's happening in the markets across the country. And as much as everybody thinks they're different, we find out how much they're really the same. Still real estate, same stuff. We're all dealing with the same things. Clients are clients.
Yep.
So I think some of those are some of my favorite guests.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gogo, Bethke, Tina Call.
Yep.
These are people I love when they're on the call.
Yeah, that's one thing. When I've had Gogo on, it was the same thing. She's like, Jimmy, I don't want to. She's like, I'm only doing this because it's you. The 7:30 a.m. stuff. She's like, I'm only doing this because it's you. And Tina said the same thing. Tina's like, all right, like this 7:30 thing. But again, Kurt, to your point, like it becomes a challenge. Like, what, you guys don't get up at 7:30? And they're like, oh, yes, we do. But then you have to be up and on and ready to go at 7:30. And I said, yeah, that's what I do. I get excited about it, and this has been a lot of fun for me.
I have to say, I know it's specific, but I love when you have Nick, the broker, on. He brings so many great points that I don't think a lot of us think of from his perspective of where he sits. And I think it's more of a broader, like we always, I don't know, I feel like we're so far in the weeds, at least for myself, I get very emotional attached to it. And he kind of pulls things back and say, okay, guys, let's look at from this point. So I love when you have Nick on.
Nick Coppola, our state broker here in the state of Michigan. And I'm glad you brought his name up. And for those of you that don't know or are listening later, Nick Coppola is one of our state brokers here in the state of Michigan. But on this Breakfast Club call, Nick usually joins in on Tuesday. So that's usually his day. He'll pop in. But again, our state broker is on our call. Now I say usually Tuesdays, but it's been other times. But our state broker takes the time, hops in this call, answers questions, and takes it. And Melissa, I think you're right. So right now I've got Austin Chevron, who's been on before. So I have to get Austin. Then I've got Tina Call's name. I've got Nick Coppola. And then we're gonna reach out to a few other people. But I'm glad you brought Nick's name up because it is our state broker. Al, you've talked about it before. How many times does that happen where your broker hops in this call and gives you advice just to give you advice and help you out?
I mean, that's a key thing. I mean, having a state broker, even though he's from Michigan, not from other states, I mean, at the end of the day, his opinion is a real estate opinion. It's not a state opinion. But if it's a state opinion or a legal opinion within our state, I mean, they all kind of are similar to each other. Maybe some states have a little bit different rules, but it's just, at the end of the day, it's just nice to network and collaborate with a lot of us from different parts of the country, whether it be a broker. And a lot of us are not even our state broker, but we have the opinion of a state broker. And like for me personally, every time I reach out to Nick or Christy, our state brokers, I already know the answer. And every time I call them, they tell them, yep, exactly, that's the right way to do it. And I'm like, God, why do I even call you guys? But you know what? It's nice to have that assurance, to have somebody you can rely on if you're not as knowledgeable as they are.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that now because I literally have the exact opposite experience with him. Is every time I voice something on the call, I'm exactly the opposite of how I should have handled it. So that's why I really appreciate his insight.
Well, Melissa, that's maybe the emotional intelligence that we have to work on.
Yeah, we have a couple of people coming up too, Jimmy. We've got Mike Sherrard. I got him in our time zone, so now he agreed to come on and be a guest on one of our Thursdays coming up here. So I know he'll be on. The Nick Krem, I thought was a great guest you had on yours because again, you start getting into the cycles of AIs and all these different the different world of all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm a fan of that kind of stuff because that's stuff that everybody knows I don't know diddly squat about. So probably my weakest area. So I love when I get to learn from the people that are doing what I suck at a really great high level. So those are always good for me.
Yeah, Nick Krem. Mike Gerard. I've interviewed Mike. It was when he was in town one time. He wasn't fully on the show, but we'll have to get Mike on the show too. But yeah, we'll get him on. And I think you're right. I think one of the things that we tried to bring again day every day, but on Fridays it's a little bit different just because we have this platform. I have this podcast platform where I can bring people and interview them, and then dig deep into their business. How do they do it? Why do they do it? What do they feel this way for? Right? When we had different guests on, again, I'm writing names down as we're going through this because I'm going to go back through my list of people and start hitting people back up about, all right, it's been a little while since you've been on, so I need you to come back in. Because again, the funny thing is people will say this when they've been on, and those of you that have been on with me understand this. This hour goes by a lot faster than you think. I mean, it's 8:24 right now. We're rolling up on, we got about 6 minutes left, which is pretty incredible when you think about it, about doing this. And when you're in studio, it goes a little bit even faster. Or when you're streaming in, it goes even faster. And so I think that's one of the cool things about this too, is that, we have this ability to get these people in, have this conversation, and to everybody's point so far this morning is how it's impacted your business. To get and again, Melissa has impacted my business. Kurt's impacted my business. Al's impacted my business. Everybody on here that we've had conversations with have impacted my business. Lisa, everybody that's contributed to this over the years has impacted my business in a positive way. So I think that's one of the biggest takeaways for me is that it's just been like this great networking event via phone. And I think that's one of the coolest things that we've done.
Jimmy, I got one for you. To Sharon Bicknell, east of Atlanta, Georgia. Austin Rankin would be good. I would say a good guest for your podcast. He's an EXP agent in Florida. Melissa knows but he's an expert on appointment setting and using pattern interrupt to get appointments set. And so
I think he's awesome. We had him on a couple weeks ago. We've had him on twice.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, he's been on the call with us.
I must admit,
Yeah, he's been on the call with us. We need to get him on. I need to get him on here. But he's been on the call. Yeah, he's been on the call with us.
I'll get you Mike.
Great call. Great one, Sharon.
What was that?
Mike Ferry. I like that, Al.
Yeah. Bring him in. Let's see if we can stump him. Bring him in on a Thursday.
Love it.
They're Vegas or California time. I don't know. That'd be challenging. 7:30. What is that? 5:30 or whatever? 4:30.
4:30 to him.
Just tell him, hey, we've got agents in California that they're on almost every day with us, and it's 4:30 for them. You can't do that. You can't do what they do.
And also have Shady Bazzi. Good coach. There's a lot of good people.
Yeah, Al,
You've had Jimmy. Haven't you had Jeff Glover on as well?
Yeah. Yep. Have had Jeff on. Justin Ford's been on. So yeah, we need to. I'll circle back. I need to get. I'd probably Jeff to come back. Again, the thing I really like too is when we get other people to come in and contribute. Right, we see how other people are handling the same situation that we're going through. And I think that's one of the most important things that I try to get out of the guests is like, okay, you're going through this. How have you dealt with it? And it kind of gives that idea of like, oh man, that person's going through the exact same thing I'm going through. And it's like, how did they handle it and how did they get through it?
And just for the record, I just found out it's Fatty DeBaja's birthday, so I'll just say happy birthday on a live call.
Hey, happy birthday.
Hey, Fatty.
We haven't heard from him yet today. Where is he? Is he sleeping because it's his birthday?
Yeah, Fatty, what are you doing? You know you're there.
Yeah, maybe he took the day off.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Fatty.
Yeah. Somebody check on him because I don't see him on the board.
Fatty.
Yeah, I don't see him on the board because I can see everybody on the board, but I don't see him on the board. Somebody,
he's on every call. He's on every call. He's not on this one. On his birthday. He slept in on his birthday, I think. I don't know.
Maybe we need to. I'll do a wellness check on him though, please. Make sure everything's all right.
He's chatting in my office chat, so he obviously is around. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, man. Oh man.
And, Arthur hasn't chimed in either.
I don't see him on the board. Maybe is it Arthur's birthday? Everybody takes their birthday off. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah,
Jimmy didn't take his birthday off last week.
No.
That's right.
No, Jimmy was here on my birthday. So we got about 2 minutes left. So who on the call wants to provide something before we go? Anybody?
I was just going to say that I'm new to the call and I was on, I think it was last week, and I was kind of in a negative space, if you remember. And I just want to say, since that call, I talked about one of the client situations where they were a long time past client, and I kind of took that for granted, and they kind of barked at me about it. And after the call, have now got them under contract, went to the inspection, got them $3,000 in closing costs yesterday, and they're just like sending me a lot of positive emojis, and I can hear in their voice on the phone calls that I think I'm back in play and back in a good place with them. So I just appreciate the help y'all gave me.
Awesome, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah, awesome. I'd love to hear that. You can go from, in this business, you can go from zero to hero real quick.
Yeah.
I'll say something. This is Sharon again, east of Atlanta. You had mentioned earlier on this call about referrals because of this call, and I got actually a couple of referrals from Tanya had a couple of different sellers that were moving from New Jersey to Georgia, and so she referred them to me, and I got them taken care of and everything. So, so yeah, definitely a good way to meet people, meet other agents in other states, and collaborate and send referrals.
I love it. I love it. Well, Breakfast Covers, we are wrapping it up again, man, on a Friday. I appreciate you all hopping in, contributing as usual. But guys, again, if you're listening now, watching now, listening later, we do this every day, Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. And no, we are not switching that time. 248-803-0656 is the number. But join us every day, Monday through Friday. Friday, you get the podcast. But again, Breakfast Clubbers, I appreciate you all. Breakfast Clubbers.
Thank you, Jimmy.
We are out.
We appreciate you,
Thanks,
brother.
Uncle
Thanks for doing
Jimmy.
this all the time.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks, Uncle
you.
Jimmy.
Thank you.
See you all next week.
Weekend.
Thank you.